Last night on MasterChef Australia.
I expect to be the one that's eliminated.
A shock elimination.
Josh, unfortunately, you will not be Australia's first MasterChef.
I really don't think it was his time to go. I don't think he deserved what they did.
Tonight, Masterclass.
Masterclass, it's the whole reason that people are here.
It's time for our amateurs to learn from the professionals.
We've got a special treat.
As the best in the business reveal their kitchen secrets.
We'll never get a bad stir fry from you ever again.
That's a promise.
Yeah.
Today's masterclass, and everyone's very excited because, you know, it's a massive opportunity for us to learn.
Look, Masterclass is amazing. Apart from us cooking or me cooking, it's the whole reason that people are here.
So, where's Josh? He's gone. Bit of a surprise. I didn't expect Josh to disappear. What happened there?
Josh, unfortunately, you will not be Australia's first MasterChef.
It's a life-changing experience. Kate and Sam, they're probably going to be lifelong friends, and walking away from them knowing that they're still in the competition, I'm going to support them with everything I've got.
Kate, upset? You look sad today, yeah?
I think it's just a bit harder for us because I think I speak fairly for the blue team as well, that none of us saw this coming. It's definitely harder. I mean, obviously we are friends with him, but it's harder that we didn't see this coming. We didn't expect it. We don't necessarily think it was a fair choice, so it's working.
But you know that this is what this is about. Surely you know that. People are going to go.
At the end of the day, you know, you guys need to realise that, you know, it is a competition. It's MasterChef, yeah? And we want to find the MasterChef, all right? So you've got to refocus. Refocus. It's Masterclass today. Yeah, it's an exciting day. It's exciting for us because we get to put our jackets on and do what we do best, and that's cook food. And hopefully you guys can learn something from it, take it away, and move on to next week, okay? That's important.
Okay, so we're going to visit squid. This was in our pressure test. Sam and Kate, you got to cook the squid for the first time, something that you found difficult. A char-grilled and stuffed squid with breadcrumbs and garlic.
They all need to move their butts a little bit.
Don't you pop on me, you bastard.
I think she's undercooked the squid. So, Kate, you undercooked that slightly. How did you go?
I was expecting that the hardest part of it was actually going to be preparing the squid, but in actual fact, it wasn't that difficult. It was more the timing. I think I wasted a bit of time trying to figure out how I was actually going to do it, and timing was my issue through the whole thing.
Put it on a bit late.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate how to clean the squid, and we're going to make a very, very simple dish from that. And then George is going to make a very, very complicated restaurant-style dish using a slightly different method.
A lot of people do get confused the difference between squid and calamari. Gary, if you could lift up the squid that we've got here. This is an arrow squid, hence, you know, it's like a bow and arrow. The wings start at the top and sort of end in the middle, and they're a lot smaller. On a calamari, they're a lot bigger, yeah?
And go the length of the body.
And go the length of the body. Is one better than the other? They say calamari is a lot more tender than squid. Beg to differ. It's just the way you cook it, I think. So, yeah, they are two different things.
OK, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to prepare this, and no, it's not hard. Nice and easy to use, and we scared you guys a bit in terms of not wanting to burst the ink sac, right? But sometimes that's inevitable. So if you can, you keep it intact. But basically what you're doing is you're separating the hood from the tentacles and the head. That's the first step. Now, second thing is there's a quill in there. See, that's the ink sac bursting. But you know what? It's okay. You can rinse it out. It's not a problem. Now, you divide the wing from the hood, okay? And with that will come all the skin and basically just peel off, right? And then what I do is I just run a knife or run my hand to remove basically the contents of the stomach and the little float, you know, swim sack or float sack that it's got in there, which is like a gelatinous material in there. With the tentacles, you have to separate the head and the tentacles just below the eyes, all right? And you can actually feel where the tentacles start because they're much stiffer, much firmer than from the head where the eyes are. And then there's also the mouth parts of the squid. There's a little beak in there, okay, which has to be removed. So that gets taken out. We've removed the membrane from the outside of the hood and then divide the two wings. And there's a little cartilage or membrane that's quite tough that connects the hood to the wing. I take that away and then I just scrape off a little membrane off the outside. Okay, Sam, up you come. I'm going to show you guys how to do very, very quick pan-fried squid. Do you think you can remember?
I'll give it a crack.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
So remember, first of all, you're separating the body. And don't worry too much, you'll feel it give, pull. Yeah. That's right. And then remove the quill. And again, you should be able to tease that. That will come out. Pinch the wings and try and pull away. That's it, perfect, look at that. Perfect. Now separate the head from the tentacles. Yep.
Oh.
That's all right. You cut into the eyes rather than... That's it. And then this one, what I do is there's that natural line where that quill comes from.
Right.
Okay? And I split that along the quill, or the line of the quill, and I make sure that any of that remaining gunk that's in there, or membrane that's on the top of that squid, and again, this may come down to just extra preparation, making sure that you know that you've moved all the little bits and pieces are gone.
Yep.
And then what we want to do is just do very, very lightly, is just to score it at 45-degree angle, like that.
Yep.
The presentation will be better. So I'm just going to cut the squid hood in half and half again.
Yep.
All right? And you're going to do the same with this one here. So just...
Do you want me to do tentacles first?
Yeah, tentacles and squid.
Lucas, question.
Scoring the squid, inside or outside? I thought it was
Outside.
the inside. It's the outside, isn't it?
Yeah.
OK, I thought it was inside.
And this is where the thing with calamari, squid and octopus is confusing. This, you have to cook very quickly and it's tender. If you cook it too long, it goes tough and then it will go tender again. Big octopus in a pot, olive oil, some aromats, lid on, boil or simmer for an hour and then it will be tender, all right? Squid like this, 30 seconds, is done. All right, good, thanks, Sam. Good job. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cook this squid quickly with a bit of olive oil and some butter and a touch of chili and fennel seed and serve it with some lemon. And this cooking technique is essential in terms of understanding how you keep squid tender, all right? If you barbecue it, it's got to be quick. If you fry it, it's got to be quick. Or it goes completely the other way and it gets braised for a long period of time, okay? So very, very easy. Hot pan. You could use a barbecue. And then this goes in super quick, all right? And it's got to cook quickly. Otherwise, it's going to spoil. And I want a little bit of colour on it. Bit of salt. Already it's curling. Bit of butter. A little bit of chili. And it takes literally 30 seconds. A bit of fennel in there. I've let it colour on one side, and I'm going to flip it over and let it colour the other side.
Delicious.
Just a squeeze of lemon juice over the top, right? Justine, you want to come and taste it? Just going to put a little bit of salt on.
Looks so good.
Tender?
Not chewy at all.
pretty much what you'd expect to taste, isn't it?
Yep.
Really
Clean
fresh,
flavours.
really tender,
Yep.
not much done to it, but beautiful, really beautiful. And at a very basic level, that's all you have to do to make something taste gorgeous.
Lovely.
Right, guys, the dish that I'm going to cook for you guys today is a calamari dish with 3 different types of cauliflower. To finish the dish, a simple vinaigrette of passion fruit and olive oil, okay? The calamari is shredded, very thin, and cooked in a little bit of butter and water for about 10 seconds. A little bit of salt in there. Okay, you can see that starting to come together. The butter solids and the water is combining, and you're making this really sort of creamy emulsion. Then to that, pop our calamari in, and we just, with a fork, we just agitate it. We literally give it a quick toss, and then that is done. So simple, okay?
Don't forget that you know, people are scared of calamari and think that you have to cook it through. But if you think about it, you eat your salmon rare, it's the same thing. And the key is fresh, okay? Super fresh.
What we've done is we've taken the cauliflower and we're giving you 3 different textures with the cauliflower. Cauliflower number 1 is a cauliflower cream that we sweat down in butter and milk for about 5 minutes until tender, and then we blend to a puree. Okay, so this goes into the liquidizer here. Be really careful when you're making a puree in one of these. Have the lid sort of a little bit up so it releases some of the air, because I've seen apprentices, they hold it down and it explodes into their face. Not a good look. And at that point, I just to enrichen it even more, pop a knob of butter in there. And there you go. Cauliflower cream made in like 5 minutes, okay?
Beautiful. I might pass this
Might
around.
taste it for seasoning, Gary. Is that all right?
Lovely. Beautiful. So if you think about what George just did, he made the simplest cauliflower soup in a sense, didn't he? If you had a touch more milk, then amazing. And when you taste this, you need to understand that all it's got in there is cauliflower milk and a little bit of butter, all right? And you can do that with any vegetable. I remember, Aaron, I think you did a puree, didn't you? A carrot puree or?
Seafood challenge.
Yeah, on the seafood
puree.
challenge. And the fuss that you went around this. And essentially, you can do the same thing with carrot, pumpkin. You don't have to use milk, you can use a splash of water. And it's all in terms of how finely it's chopped, how quickly it's cooked, and preserving that one flavour.
That's about as good as it gets.
Cauliflower number 2 is very simple. It's shaved cauliflower, very thin, dressed with olive oil and sea salt. That's it, and that's that. Done. Cauliflower number 3.
You got enough of this?
Yeah. This is our cauliflower milk that we strained off from making the cauliflower, and we've just frozen that into a container. Sort of need 24 hours, or 12 hours at least. And then we scratch away at that and create this really fine powder that's frozen. So we've got our cauliflower flavour. We've also made a little passion fruit vinaigrette, and it's literally passion fruit and olive oil, fresh passion fruit, okay? Nothing else. We've also got some of this, which is really interesting. It's avgotarajo, or as the Italians call it, butara. And it's the mullet roe. They remove it, they salt it and hang it till it dries out. I think the Spanish use it as well. It's got a lovely saltiness to it, yeah? On its own, very interesting, but with something like cauliflower, it just brings out the flavour. It's really, really lovely. The French have their truffles. This is my truffle. It's expensive, and you just a little bit shaven over a simple pasta. It's beautiful. So we've got our calamari element, our cauliflower element, our passion fruit, and our 4th flavour is something really exciting, dehydrated ouzo. It's basically black olives. We cover them with ouzo and we dry them out in the oven until they crystallise. Once they crystallise, we blend them with almond meal. A little bit of star anise just to boost the flavour. Do you want to come up, Trevor? Everyone can put their nose in that.
Pass that around.
And pass it. You can try some of that. Smell that if you can.
It's really nice.
It smells star anise for sure.
Trevor, tell me what you're smelling when you get that. Do you get that aniseed?
The real aniseed flavour comes right
Yep.
through straight at the start, and then I think sort of right in the back is the olive.
Yeah.
Just get it.
Yeah, and the butara, or the avotarajo, very interesting. Yeah, it's something that it's a saltiness, fishiness that really elevates food. Yeah. Right, to dress. This is the cauliflower cream. A little flurry on the plate. Our fresh cauliflower. Calamari's next. I'll just do a little mountain of that. Gary, if I can get you to pop the that into that little bunch of calamari, and what that's going to do is something to that, and it's just going to elevate the calamari. You'll be able to see it. Yeah. Right, our dehydrated ouzo powder, and this will just add a really nice spice to the plate. Yeah. Okay, our passion fruit vinaigrette. So the passion fruit vinaigrette, literally fresh passion fruit with olive oil, 50-50, all right? And this will just, that zing, that sort of zestiness with the creaminess of the cauliflower is an absolute gorgeous combination. All right, some of our little basil leaves just on the plate. And then last but not least, this little frozen powder.
Doesn't that look stunning? Just stunning, beautiful. I can see Aaron getting carried away again. Aaron, no.
Aaron, come and taste this, yeah? Right, talk me through it. What are you tasting?
You start off with the cold from the cauliflower. Yeah, the cauliflower. You, the dehydrated ouzo with the squid, and then passion fruit comes through, and then it finishes off with the saltiness. But no, it's really beautiful. It's beautiful.
Why is it so good?
The taste just evolves in your mouth. So it has different notes and different textures through each bite, and you just want to take a bite again.
Fantastic, Aaron. Please sit down.
Cheers.
That's my lunch.
Right, one of you can come up and have another taste. Who wants to taste? Come on, Sandra. Tell me what you're feeling.
I love the flavors together, but I think what really hits me first is the powder. It's just so refreshing. And then you get the creaminess of the cauliflower and the acidity of the passion fruit, and just the softness of the calamari and the butterness. And I can feel the ouzo as well. It's delicious. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful dish. I'll be making that.
So top tips for cooking squid, calamari, octopus, they're all part of the same family. They have that little rule, which is tender, tough, tender. And what that means is how quickly you cook it, it will be tender, and that's really fast. You saw how quickly we cooked the squid, 30 seconds, all right? That's a young baby squid. And then it'll go tough if you keep cooking it. And if you keep cooking it for longer, and I'm talking 45 minutes to an hour, it'll braise and it'll become tender again. So try and remember that tender, tough, tender.
Like all seafood, it must be fresh, okay? It mustn't smell fishy, okay? It's got to smell salty and sweet, like the sea.
We've got a special treat. We've got a rising star in Chinese cuisine in Australia. His name is Frank Sheck from China Doll in Sydney.
Frank, how are you? Welcome.
How are you, Frank?
Thank you very much.
You well?
Yep, good, thank you.
So, I think you can guess we're revisiting the Chinese challenge.
You'll all be working with mushrooms as your core ingredient to create a Chinese-inspired meal.
Kate,
Yes, George.
You did a Chinese stir fry. She cooked the noodles and then she tossed sesame oil through it and it just needs a couple of drops. She's actually used it like olive oil.
I'll tell you straight, I think it's crap.
So, Kate, you're going to come out and get a lesson on a simple and beautiful stir fry. Tell us what you're cooking today.
All right, it's a really simple stir fry. Asian mushrooms, we have 6 varieties here.
Yep.
Mixing, we've got king browns,
enoki,
oyster mushrooms,
yep,
shimijis, fresh shiitake, and black fungus. We're going to team that with some fresh snow peas,
yes,
and baby corn.
Baby corn.
We do a quick garnish with some julienne shallots and coriander at the end.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I mentioned one more.
You've got one more. Is this the secret ingredient?
This is like it's not widely used. This is fermented chili bean curd, and that's going to give a good body to our dish today.
Great. Right, Frank, let's get into it.
Okay. What I've done, just pre-hand, is I've just pressed a piece of tofu between a cloth and a weight on top, just to press out some of the excess water, and that will prevent the tofu from breaking up too easily in the stir fry. So, Kate, I'm just going to cut that up into little batons. I'll just show you what I mean. So I'll just cut it in halfway first. Okay, it's just like cutting cheese. So just little strips like that, okay? And then the next step is we're going to coat that in tapioca flour, and we're going to fry that first for the dish. That will give almost like a crispy coating, and will help the sauce stick to the tofu as well. And we're gonna just briefly fry this tofu. It won't take long.
Specific oil?
Look, I use vegetable oils and in most of my cooking, but if you have peanut oil, that's a nice base flavor too, or groundnut oil. Any oil which can take a high heat. Great. So basically we're adding another texture almost, if you like. Okay, you just want to move those around gently. Just like that. Just turn them every now and again. Thank you. Okay, so after we fry the tofu, the next step is to briefly fry the vegetables, okay? And the reason we do this in stages is so we don't overcook each part. And then they're assembled quickly at the end once we make our sauce. It's just these are black fungus mushrooms. They grow on trays. They've got a lovely slippery, crunchy texture, so just break them up like that. Just tear them, that's fine. The idea of the stir fry is to have everything almost like uniform pieces so things cook at the same time. Okay, next mushroom is fresh shiitake. This one gives a nice slippery texture when cooked and nutty flavor as well. Okay, so we're looking for a little bit of color on the tofu. Okay, I think they're good. Good? Yep. So out you come. So that's what you end up with. So it's got like a crispy coating on the outside. Now that crunch will dissipate somewhat once it's in the dish, but it will help to thicken the sauce, and that kind of floury coating will help the sauce to stick to it. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to do our vegetables. The black fungus and enoki I'll throw in at the end, they don't need much cooking over. Right. These take a bit more cooking. But don't move them too much, because we want the mushrooms to brown. If you move the food too much at the beginning, it tends to sweat, and then the mushrooms give out water and the whole thing just stews.
And you're putting a touch more oil in because the mushrooms soak it up, don't they?
They look a bit dry, yeah. That's okay.
Tom?
In terms of that dish, are you able to add other things to it, like chilies or...?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're not limited?
If you like heat, yes, some fresh chilies you can throw in at the end, or you can chop some green chilies and we fry at the beginning, give a more rounded flavor. But if you like bite, I think at the end. So about another 20 seconds, and then we're going to get the baby corn and the snow peas in. Good. So we've added in the corn and snow peas a bit later because they take less time to cook. The mushrooms take a bit longer cooking. And now what we're going to do is add a little bit of water.
And what does that do, Frank?
So now what's happening is the vegetables are semi-stir-frying, semi-steaming.
So it's pushing them along,
that's right.
Injecting them with heat.
Exactly. Okay, so now they can come out now. So just into the big bowl. We're just going to make a quick finishing sauce. So you're going to just quickly chop some garlic and coriander root, and that's going to be one of the base flavors, okay? Okay, we'll do maybe three cloves altogether. The ginger, this is old ginger, so it's got a tougher skin on it, so best to peel it. So I'm just going to do some quick slices while Kate's doing that. And also, ginger, when it's been fried for a little bit in the wok, it develops a really sort of caramelly, sweet aroma, and that's going to permeate through the whole dish. So we're just going to grind up some white peppercorns, whole white peppercorns. So I reckon about that much, and then just like a circular motion, but not to a fine powder, so it leaves some crunch. This is some coriander root. Most people use the leaves for garnish and for salads. A lot of Asian people use the roots because there's actually more flavor in the roots for the actual cooking of a dish. So we're just going to get Kate to just cut, just like that.
Sure.
Okay, beauty.
Jeannie?
Yes, coriander, I've sort of haven't used it in Chinese. I've used it a lot in Thai cuisine. Is that a modern fusion?
Oh, right. No, China, coriander is prevalent all throughout China. I mean, my Cantonese is background, and my grandma used to grow coriander in the backyard. I don't know how she managed it in Scotland, but she did. But no, we like the strong flavor of coriander very much. The Chinese use a lot of coriander. Hot wok back on the heat. Just a medium heat this time, because we're going to cook these aromats, and Kate's done a job of cutting them finely, so we don't want too hot, otherwise it will burn. About 1.5 tablespoons of that.
How does that smell, Kate?
Like garlic.
Like garlic, strong garlic. Yeah, and pepper, like really strong garlic and pepper. Like it totally
That's right.
releases all the aromats.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
so we don't want to brown too much, so now we're going to go in with some chicken stock. About yay much, yep. And then our sauce ingredients, so we've got oyster sauce, soy, and sugar.
Smells nice.
Oh, it smells beautiful.
I can smell the pepper more now.
Okay, so now what we need is just a little nodule of the fermented bean curd. So you just push that through the sieve, and that will help it to melt into the sauce so you don't get unattractive lumpy bits in your sauce.
And that's a very strong flavour, you say?
That's correct. So the Chinese usually use this when they're eating things like congee, like a basic rice gruel. So that will flavour the whole bowl. So you want to stir that in. Thank you, Kate. Doesn't take much. Okay, so I don't want to introduce too much more. I'm just going to add a little bit of stock, and then this is the final stage. We're just going to toss everything together. So in with the vegetables. In with the tofu. And shallot battens, cut earlier. All right, Kate, you're going to do this bit, sesame oil.
Are you sure you trust me with this?
Yeah, go on. Just like 1 or 2 splashes. 1, 2, 3. Oh, one more, go on. Go on, one more. That's it. Okay, now toss together. Okay, so I've just put in the fresh gnocchis and the black fungus at the end. Now just fold that through. So we've got lots of different textures in this dish now. And now we're ready to come out onto the plate. Here's a finished dish. That's wok fried Asian mushrooms, baby corn, snow peas, and tofu.
Fantastic, well done. So, Kate, you're gonna taste and tell
I certainly
tell us what you.
Gary, I'll be tasting as well. Fantastic.
And these are all really simple ingredients you can pick up anywhere. I mean, they sound like very plain ingredients, but when you do them like this, they all come to the forefront.
Tell us, Kate, what do you think? What are you tasting there?
Just the balance of flavours. It's perfect. All the flavours are quite subtle, but together they work. Yeah. Definitely.
Kate, we'll never get a bad stir fry from you ever again.
That's a promise.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thanks,
your help.
Kate. No worries. Good luck with the rest.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. Really appreciate it, Frank. Thanks very much. Okay, great. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
In this week's mystery box, let's just recap.
No!
We had an orange, chocolate, coconut, sugar, eggs, and self-raising flour. Let's just remember those dishes that you all did. Pikelets, dumplings. What you could have done is a really elegant soufflé, and Gary's going to demonstrate that for you.
Now, Justine, you're going to help me here, since you're our French guru. Now, first up, you've got some chocolate to melt. Just pop that onto the double boiler there. Just bring the water to the boil, put the bowl over the top, pull it off, and put it on the side. And the heat in the bowl will be enough for the chocolate to melt. Now, whatever you do, don't get water in the chocolate. Ruins it, all right? Now, next up, butter the moulds. So soft butter. And you don't have to slather the thing, okay? You can lightly brush with butter, and the whole idea is to, first of all, get a good, even layer through the mould. Anybody know what will happen if I miss a bit? It'll stick. Next part is to do this. Go up, like this, and those little lines, believe it or not, will help that soufflé pop up. And what we're going to do is just sugar these. What the sugar does is the heat hits the outside of the container, the butter will melt, the sugar will melt, and it'll slide upwards. So both the sugar and the butter help facilitate that little cork action that you're going to get on the soufflé mixture. All right? The other nice thing it does is as it cooks for longer, so it's in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes, you get this lovely little crusty, sugary coating around the outside of the soufflé, which is delicious. Chris, you had a question?
We didn't have butter, so what do you suggest with the bowl?
You can use oil, you can use spray oil, and actually the spray oils work quite well because they put very, very fine, even coating that you can sugar. It'll do the same thing. So egg whites next. We've separated the eggs, okay? So you've got 4 yolks, got your 4 whites. And we're going to put a little bit of sugar in first, just to get the egg, just to get the meringue started, all right? So a little bit of sugar. You just tip that straight off into there. Put more in. Yeah, be generous, yeah.
So when you do savoury ones, when you're doing savoury ones, you obviously don't use sugar.
You know, if you're doing a savoury one, like a cheese one, you can use breadcrumbs or parmesan.
Okay.
Yep. So again,
you
it's just...
don't ever use just butter?
No. I think what it is that it just, it helps form like this little crispy crust on the soufflé as it pops up. So what I'm looking for here is a soft peak, all right? I don't want to overdevelop the egg white. So you had orange, right? And some of you actually, I think Poe, you did like a Jaffa sauce. Somebody else did that sort of Jaffa concept as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a chocolate and Jaffa soufflé. So I have to candy the oranges, all right? So it basically means smothering it in sugar, putting a good dash of water in there, and then popping it on the heat, bringing it up to the boil and letting it cool, and then bringing it up to the boil and letting it cool. So, warm chocolate. I want you to stir those in really well, and it'll stiffen up more. Now, what the egg yolk's going to do, it's going to act sort of like a custard in a sense. It's going to bind the chocolate with the egg white, okay? And it's going to give it a good old mix, yeah. Give it a good old mix. So it's going to create some bonding, some binding for the soufflé. Otherwise, it would just like boil and bubble and spill out of the mould, right? Okay. Now, the way I do it is I mix in 1/3 of the egg white. It's just to form a batter, okay? So just mix that. Doesn't matter how it is. Yep. As long as it loosens the whole mixture and facilitates the rest of the egg white going in, that's what you want. It's the following addition of egg white that has to be gentle, and you have to turn and fold. Perfect. Right. So I'll show you how we do this now. Fold very gently, just to incorporate, until you get this nice light batter. All right? Okay? Now, this is the orange that's been confying down in that sugar. So you get that lovely sort of candied orange. And that's that, you know, the Jaffa flavour that you guys were after? That's what that is. Now, what we've got to do, I'll do one, and all I want to do is half full, and try not to splash the mixture onto the side. Because what we're going to do is going to put a little bit of that Jaffa orange into the mix. All right, off you go. Ooh, don't want to drip it on the sides. Because if you drip it on the sides, you've got to wipe it off. And once you've got to wipe it off, then you're getting into all sorts of trouble. So any little bits that you've got on there need to come off, all right? And hopefully it'll still be greasy enough. And they go into the oven at just on 200 degrees, okay? For about 8 to 10 minutes. All right, Justine, once they're in the oven, you can sit back down. Thank you very much. Should we open the door on the oven? No. I don't think it matters. These days, the ovens will recover very, very quickly. They're convection ovens, and so the air's moving around inside, so they heat back up very, very quickly. Now, with this, you didn't have this, but I'm just going to serve it with a chocolate cream, grated chocolate, and whipped cream. That's it, all right? And what's really nice with a soufflé is you've always got something. Like if you didn't have this, then make an orange sauce so that you can puncture the top of the soufflé. It should always be slightly undercooked inside, so it's a little bit gooey. And then you pour the sauce in, hole in the middle, double cream with chocolate in it, which will melt as it goes in. It's just gorgeous. Okay, George, should we get the soufflés out?
Yep, will do.
Why not? Can you see what's happened on this one?
Yeah.
See on that side? And look at the other one. It's gone up like a cork. This one's gone up like a cork. Now, that could be the temperature of the oven, but it's unlikely. More to do with the fact that it's caught on this little edge, OK? So there we have it, chocolate soufflé. You could have done that out of your mystery box. Justine, let's go.
It's my lucky day.
Now, best thing we can do is just open it up, and it should be gooey in the middle, and then you drop a bit of the cream in the middle.
Ah, that's nice.
So you can go on your bistro menu. Go, eat.
So it's supposed to be that good, is it?
Yeah. Well, I'll put the cream in, don't forget.
Yeah, I know that. Beautiful.
OK, so let's hope you learned something from today. Let's bear in mind all of those little tips and tricks that you not only got from us, but also from Frank as well, with the Chinese class. Really, really valuable lessons, OK? And if you'd have produced that soufflé, you could have possibly won the mystery box challenge that we did. And who knows, maybe the person who got eliminated wouldn't have been if they just had that one extra recipe in their repertoire. So this is how important it is, guys, OK? So?
Right, guys, let's eat.
Let's grab some stuff and pour a glass of wine, yeah? Lucas is on the wine.
Always Lucas.
Always on the wine.
At the bar.
Well done.
Right, guys, another fantastic masterclass. Well done. Cheers.
Next time on MasterChef Australia.
Cook like you're going to save the world.
The mystery box throws up another surprise.
If you're ever going to take a massive risk, this is the challenge to do it in.
Before the chefs get creative in an invention challenge.
I feel excited. I feel that they've stepped up.
Who will stand out from the crowd?
You are really looking like a real chef, yeah?
And who will taste defeat?
That's almost like Vegemite on the plate.
I could give that dish a miss.
I'm very, very angry at myself. Why the hell didn't I just do steak and chips?